to include the domain. That's part of it. Let's talk about what we have here. We have a line with a negative slope. This is a parabola. Tell me about the transformation of this parabola. What's going on with that when it's a negative one? Good. One place below the origin. Good. And then what is this thing called again? Good. Absolute value. There's two transformations on that one. What are those two transformations? Very good. A vertical flip because it's negative, and a vertical stretch because that value is greater than 1. Good. 3 pieces, 3 T-charts. Just going to write these expressions above the T-charts. All right, remember, you always start where the domain starts. So this domain starts at 0, so we're going to plug in a 0 right here. And remember, we want values less than 0, so they're going to be negative. So I have to make sure I write my -1 and my -2 there. All right, let's go ahead and get some outputs. When we plug in 0, of course, that's 2. Y'all look. When you plug in a -1, what's going to happen right there? Right. So what's the output right here, guys? It's a 3. Great job. What's your last output? A 4. Good job. All right. Let's analyze the beginning and end. Here's the beginning. Is that going to be an open or a closed circle? It is definitely closed. How is this graph going to end? How is this piece going to end? Negative infinity. Very good. And we're talking about x values, by the way. The x values are going to go on to negative infinity. Okay, so let's take a look at our parabola, guys. Our parabola has an AND statement. You have a beginning value of 0. You have an end value of 3. If you have an end value that's not infinity, you have to have that. So for this column right here, we are going to start with 0. We are going to end with 3. We can go ahead and plug in 1 and 2 because that's just 2 extra numbers. So when there's a beginning and an end, you have to start with the beginning. You have to stop with the end. Let's go ahead and get our outputs for these. All right, so our outputs are going to be x squared minus 1. So my last output is going to be 9 minus 1, which is 8. And then let's see what's happening here. What kind of circles are we going to start and stop this parabola with? Very good. Good. And I'm just going to remind myself, no arrows on this piece. Okay, absolute value. Let's analyze some absolute value over here. All right, so it begins at 3, so I have to start it with a 3. And remember, we want pieces that are bigger than 3, so I'm just going to do 4 and 5. All right, guys, remember when you drop in the absolute value, when you take it out, it has to be positive. So the absolute value of 3, of course, is 3, but you have to multiply by the -2, so we have to put -6 here. 3 times -2 is 6, 4 times -2 is -8, 5 times -2 is -10. Let's analyze how it starts and how it stops. What kind of circle is going to start this? Very good, closed. How is it going to end? Y'all, it's going to end with positive infinity. We are going to have an arrow on the right side of our graph for domain. Okay, let's graph this. Let's see what this turns into. So there's my graph over here, just on this side. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a closed circle at 0, 2. Then I'm going to plot the rest of those ordered pairs for that line. And guys, please use your straight edge. Make some clean graphs. Do not forget to put your negative infinity symbol, negative infinity arrow, on that piece. All right, so let's talk about this middle piece here. So we know that it's going to start with an open circle at 0, -1. And we're going to plot these middle points with closed circles. Don't forget 3, 8 is an open circle. So 1, 0, +2, +3. And then remember, this last one here is going to be an open circle. And guys, we know it's a parabola, so just sketch the curve the best you can. All right. So, one more piece. It's going to be that absolute value piece. We're going to draw a closed circle at 3, -6. So that last dot, 5, -10, is going to be on the very bottom of the picture. Guys, just make sure you extend it a little bit to draw that positive infinity arrow for the domain. Okay, guys, if you scanned this, would you constantly be touching the function sideways? Yes, very good. So we know this is negative to positive infinity. But guys, you have some jumps in your range there, and you're going to have to address that. What is the lowest value for the range? Yes. But you got a big gap right here. How high is this piece going to go? Up to what? Good. -6 with a bracket, because it is filled in. Right here. Now let's draw the OR symbol. When does the graph pick up again on the y-axis? -1, but what are you going to draw in front of it? Yeah. And then what are we going to end with? Infinity. Even though you have an open circle here, this orange piece is going to take care of it and take it all the way up to infinity. And then what's going to match f of -3? What's the output? Where is that? If you drew your straight edge, you should see it. What is it? It is a 5. So let's write 5 here. What kind of discontinuities are happening in this graph? Good. How many do you see? Awesome. All right, great, guys. So that's how we're going to graph piecewise.